for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Councilmember Fight.
Here.
Councilmember Cate. Mayor Parker.
Here.
Councilmember Rudolph.
Here.
Councilmember Honas.
Here.
Councilmember Gusson.
Here.
Mayor Katz.
Here.
Adequate notice of this meeting has been provided by adoption of Resolution 466-06, setting the 2007 meeting dates, sending a copy to the Record, the Suburbanite, the Bergen News, Sun Bulletin, the Connection, the Jewish Standard, and Sugia, filing a copy in the Township Clerk's office and posting it on the Municipal Building Bulletin Board, and the Mayor hereby directs that the statement be included in the minutes.
Thank you very much, and good evening, and welcome to a regular council meeting of Tuesday, February 6, 2007. Also, for the record, Helene Fall is here, our municipal manager. Stanley Turretts from law firm of Ferrara Turretts, Haraka and Goldberg. Lizette Appertella Hernandez, our assistant to the municipal manager, and Jennifer Hodges, our assistant to the municipal clerk. Justin Pirelli is behind the camera. Justin, thank you very much for televising tonight and standing in for Ron Goodman while he's trying to get another education in school. And Francisco Martinez is the one who's taking care of the building tonight and making sure that the place looks so good. Just for the just the next televised council meeting will be February 20th, 2007. All right. For the last 7 months, after reading that, I would point to also Robin Lamort, who we just heard from, is our municipal clerk. Yesterday, Robin Lamort passed away. She has been our clerk for the last 5.5 years. She grew up in Ordell, married her high school sweetheart Robert for 40, and then been married for 40 years. Lived in River Edge for the last 35 years. And she has a daughter, Renelle, son Robert, son-in-law Robert. She's the proud nana of Riley. And she's been working for the town for 13 years. So I apologize. I think we're all a little bit, we're all going to wear sunglasses tonight, but we didn't know how that would look. It's very sad. Actually, as I was going into the council meeting tonight, the manager just quickly checked my tie and did that. I said, oh, that's what Robin always did for me for the last 7 months. But she was very special to all of us, and we're really going to miss her. So I'm going to ask for a moment of silence if we can stand. In addition, another loss that we had, that the Teaneck had, was a longtime resident Philippa Prada, who was very active in the Southern Little League, who was a coach, who was active with the Teaneck youth, and after a 5-year battle with cancer, he left family and died this morning as well at the age of 44. So please have their families in your thoughts and prayers. Thank you. Before we go down to the next item on our list, I know that Robin, who's been really special for all of us, I know that there's some members of the council and some members of staff that would like to say a few words about Robin. So I guess I'll start on my right.
Yeah, just briefly, Mr. Mayor, you know, the first several times that I had interactions with Robin was when I was the ambulance corps representative trying to schedule various presentations and proclamations. And what I felt in interacting with her, this is obviously way before I was a member of the council, was that my request always seemed to be the most important request to her. And I always appreciated that. And then I think seeing over the last 7 months that that's really the way she was. It wasn't just for me. I believe that she probably made everybody feel that way. So she will definitely be missed.
I don't know, Mr. Mayor, if I really could talk about Robin tonight yet, because I don't believe that she's not going to walk into the door. And it's just too much of a loss, a personal loss, certainly for us, and the staff that she worked with, who all are devastated. And for all the time that she has served the council and that I have been on the council, one couldn't have a more dedicated staff member. We don't know she never left on time. We don't know all the hours that she was there behind the scenes to make sure that we had everything that we needed to have. And she didn't complain. She always had that sense of humor, and you might get a little look sometimes, but she was there to do everything we needed to do. And I don't know how we'll get on without her. We will have to, and I know that she trained her staff very well, and certainly her mentor, our manager, will make sure that we get on. But for the years that I was mayor, there were 3 people that I relied on, and Robin was certainly one of them, along with Helene and Stanley. And we really developed a close relationship. I had the honor and privilege of officiating at Ronell's marriage, and knowing what little Riley meant to her, to become a grandmother, that little baby, and I can certainly relate to that. So I'm so glad she had that year of being a grandma. And I can't believe she's gone.
Over the last 7 months that I've served on the council, Robin has always been so very attentive to the needs of the council. Anything that you asked her for, she responded very timely. Even back in the beginning of the year, a year ago, during the campaign, she always, as Councilman Veit, treated your request as if it was the most important request, and she will definitely be missed. About a week ago or so, she was joking. I got a migraine during the budget meeting, and I asked Lizette for some Advil, and Robin gave it to me and said, I'm going to have to charge you for this. And I looked at her, and she says, you don't know that I'm joking. You still don't know, and I kind of wish that tonight wasn't. I just extend condolences to her family.
All the staff have really become family to us over the last 7 months, but the municipal staff especially, who we interact with every day. And Councilwoman Cates mentioned that look that Robin gives. After calling your name, for roll call, she just always gave that smile. And before we went into every meeting, she always wished us luck on another night. And it was just Friday that I was speaking to her, and she asked me when I'd bring my daughter to come visit next, because we'd come visit, and Robin and I would talk about her granddaughter and my granddaughter. And
Your daughter.
Your daughter.
Sorry. Daughter. And when Lizette called me yesterday, and the entire staff here was at a loss of words, and as were all the council members that I had spoken to yesterday. And our condolences and my condolences and my family's are with Robin's family.
The loss of Robin
has been deeply upsetting to all of us. As you've heard from all of my colleagues, she had the uncanny ability, no matter who you were, resident, council member, anybody, to make you feel like you were the most important person to her in the entire world at any given time. No matter what your wish, what your desire, it was hers to try and grant it and try and make you happy and try and do everything that she could possibly do for the residents as well as for us. She's been known to do certain things and say certain things, especially to all of us, because she would say to you, now look, I'm going to tell you just like your mother would tell you. You know, you need to go out there and do this, or stay, or say this, or stand for your convictions. And she is someone who will be missed greatly by all of us. And
whether it was the kind look during roll call or the sort of dry, wry wit, the jokes, and Robin made it fun to come to meetings when at times things were difficult, things were trying. There was always a bright light when you'd look over and see her there, and just a terrible loss. One of the sort of, I guess, weekly procedures we have, we get a daily mail packet, and it comes in a reusable envelope. And every night we'd have a meeting, Robin would sort of go and make the rounds, and I think maybe I got this more than some of my colleagues. But frequently I'd forget to bring in my empty envelopes to go in the recycling queue, and so, you know, over the last several months, she had trained me into shape, and I've got a stack of these envelopes here tonight that, when I walked in, I was looking for Robin to hand them in, and this loss is not a personal loss for me or for my colleagues, but I think most importantly, this is a loss for the Township of Teaneck, for everything that she did for everyone in this room and the 39,000 people of Teaneck. This is a tragic time for all of us.
Okay. Ms. Fall.
Thank you. I think I've been dreading this moment because I'm not sure what you say about somebody who starts out as a secretary in the engineering department and works to be one of the highest appointed officials in our history. Robin was exceedingly proud of her service to Teaneck. And I'm proud to have been part of the team that worked with her. I said this to some council members. I came to work on Sunday. When I pulled up, I saw Robin's car here. I'm like, what the heck is she doing here? Because she's supposed to be off tomorrow to take care of Riley. And I walked in and I said, okay, Robin, we're not going to talk. Fair is fair. You're here to work. I'm here to work. And she was getting ready to leave with maybe 2 hours had passed. And we sat and we talked like we always did about nothing of tremendous importance, but of things of great importance, our family and all of you guys. We talked about you guys. And I shall never promise, Robin, tell you what we said. But we always talked about the state of affairs of Teaneck because that was really paramount in Robin's concern. She wanted to do a good job, and that was always her goal. I'd like to say Robin was short. You guys probably never saw it because she sat down. She was a short person. She was fierce. She was a fierce warrior. You best have her as your ally because you sure in heck did not want to have her as your adversary. And I think some of the best moments I had was when Robin showed me I was wrong about something. And I enjoyed that because she always wanted to do things right, the right way and the thorough way. And that's really a legacy that she leaves with us. It's a devastating loss for us, and it's a devastating loss for Teaneck, but for our employee family and our staff, my staff and the clerk staff, it's, yes, you know, we'll move forward and there will be another clerk sitting there someday, but I do believe that people are not replaceable, and what the specialness that they bring to their job is not replaceable. I was talking to my husband tonight because I said I really want to say something about Robin, but I'm not sure what I can say that can sum up Robin. You guys have mentioned her wit and the funny things, and as you know, I've been working on updating the website. One of the things I wanted to do was to add biographies about the department heads. So Robin sent me one, and I won't read it, but it started out, I was born in the backwaters of Tennessee. And I'm reading this and I'm saying, what is going on here? She was born in Oradell, New Jersey. Or what is going? And it went on, and there was this whole long litany. And I emailed her back. I said, Robin, I said, what's going on? She said, I was just wanted to make sure you would read it without, you know, before you posted it. And then she sent me what the mayor read. But that was Robin. You know, in some of my deepest and darkest moments, she was always there. And I knew that I would have her support 100%. So we mourn Robin's loss, passing. We mourn with our family, the Lamort family, and I hope that each of you will, as you go to sleep tonight, to whomever you may pray, you pray for their family, that they have the strength to get through the next few days. I know that her greatest joy was her Riley Logan. We got to see a Nana side of Robin that we thought didn't exist, and that's fair. But she blossomed into a beautiful grandmother, and we will do our best that, as we are able to let Riley know the breadth and the extent of the love that Robin had for her. And I thank you all. I thank the residents of Teaneck for the condolences that they have extended to our staff. They are extremely appreciated, and I hope that you will continue to share those with us, because we will provide them to Robin's family so that they know how much Robin was respected in Teaneck. I thank you.
Lizette.
And I thank you for your indulgence.
All right. Lizette, do you want
No.
No?
Is that? No? No? Jen? No.
to? Stanley?
I don't think a lot of people appreciate the important job that the clerk has in protecting the interests of the township of Teaneck. It's far more than just what the name implies, clerk. She has a very high level of responsibility to carry forth her duties, and it was always Robin's intent and desire to carry those duties out to the highest possible way, in the highest possible way, to protect the interests of the township of Teaneck. I worked with her daily for the last 7 years, and it was a pleasure to work with her as a professional, and it was a pleasure to work with her as a human being. It'd be a great loss to the township of Teaneck, and a personal loss to myself.
Thank you, council. Thank you, staff. Thank you, residents. We will miss Robin greatly. All right. So our next item on the agenda is presentations. And when we heard about the loss, I spoke to township manager and I said, should we do the presentations? And the question was, how would Robin have wanted this meeting to be run? And I think she would have absolutely made it clear to us that we must follow all of our procedures, we must follow the rules, and we certainly should conduct the business of the residents. And with that, I'm going to go down for the presentation portion of the agenda. Our first presentation is for, I like to say this, my former colleague, but also my friend, Reverend Randall Day. I'd like to call you up, as well as I know there's some members of St. Mark's that are here as well. All can come. So, do you miss not being up there, Randall?
It's a different view. I'd have to say I like this view too.
The truth is, you can give this to yourself. I mean, technically, you know,
It's better coming from
you're
you.
still former councilman.
Better coming from you.
Well, we on the council and the town appreciate all of your hard work. And when I say your, it's a communal your. Everybody knows, or maybe you don't know, and you should get to know how much St. Mark's does for this community. Their relationship that they have with so many organizations. Something that I found out when I went there, their relationship that they have with Holy Name Hospital as being their neighbor, and also being a facility that, God forbid, Holy Name needed to use St. Mark's for communications, etc. They're wired into the hospital. I know that's where you make your long-distance phone calls from. But now this week you've been very successful with English as a second language, and I'll let you say a little something about it. But we applaud all your hard work, but specifically this week your ESL to go and your success with ESL to go.
Thank you very much.
If you want to just say a few words and maybe
Thanks.
just explain. You can say a little something about St. Mark's and also say a little something about what you're doing this week.
Great, thanks. With deep appreciation to the township and to mayor and council for this recognition of the ESL to Go program, which is part of our day laborer outreach. As many know, St. Mark's has been part of Teaneck for more than 80 years, one of the early institutions in our township. It's also a regional church with members from over 20 New Jersey communities as well as New York City. And our aim always is to serve the wider community, so to be not only a house of worship or a faith community, but rather to serve the wider community in Teaneck and in Bergen County. We have, in addition to our own programs, over 25 community-based groups that meet at St. Mark's that have space there. And then, of course, a range of programs that we work on in conjunction with Holy Name Hospital, as you mentioned. As part of that, a number of our programs are especially designed to serve those who are on the margins, people who are hungry, people who are homeless, people who are in poverty or are suffering one sort of discrimination or another. And that's really how we became involved with the day laborers in our area, which, as we all know, are a large number of people. We serve a particular day laborer site where there are 30 to 50 day laborers. We visit them twice a week, every Wednesday morning, every Saturday morning, and we take them basic nutrition, health and safety supplies, warm clothing, especially in weather such as we're having now, and then we also teach them English on the street. We also have a component of teaching them English at St. Mark's in our building, and that's a more established program that we do a couple of times a year. So one thing I would say in that connection, in our getting to know this group of day laborers over a long period of time, well over a year now, we found them to be like so many immigrants, our forebears and grandparents who came to this country seeking better life for themselves and for their families. They're people who, in our experience, week in and week out, are hardworking, conscientious, thoughtful, good-humored, and many of them have a very deep belief in God. And one of the things that we're hoping with this program, in addition to just providing the service that we provide, we're hoping that it provides a model for people to have a different response to day laborers other than fear and demonization, which is something that they oftentimes encounter and leads to all kinds of abuse and difficulty for them that really is not appropriate and is not, something that we would expect or hope for a response to anybody in our country. I'm grateful to all of these volunteers, and a number of our volunteers couldn't be here this evening for one reason or another, who also send their appreciation to the council and to the township for this recognition. And
we'll do a little photo op for the.
A lot of people have gone into, a lot of work has gone into developing the program, the materials, and to teaching from week to week. So we're very grateful for this recognition, which is very encouraging and helps us to say, well, let's keep working and keep doing things. Personally, I just add my condolences to Robin's family and to all who are bereaved, and I think Councilman Gusson and Manager Fall and others have noted that that really is the whole township. I'm grateful for the memories I have in being able to work with her in my days on council, but one other thing just to highlight in terms of her work, St. Mark's serves as a polling place for the township, and so for many years I've worked with Robin on elections, and the amount of energy and detail, in addition to everything else that we already have said in terms of her intelligence, her wit, but everything that has gone into all of the elections that we've had for years, and one can just imagine both the physical arrangements and then all the procedures that go into running the elections for the township. And I've worked with Robin for years on that, and she really was a linchpin, I think, for the township. And as our manager said, you know, life will go on, but it certainly won't go on in the way that it has. And I think we can all be grateful that she elevated, in a sense, the office of township clerk, something that will be a legacy and a benefit for many, many years to come. So, but thank you very much for this recognition.
Anyone else want to say? No? Listen, Teaneck is fortunate to have you, Randall. I'm allowed to say Randall. If I
Yes.
still, because you told me I was allowed to then. Is it still apply? Reverend Day.
That's the preferred.
And we're certainly lucky to have St. Mark's in our community, and keep up all the good work, and you should do more and help the town more, but we really appreciate everything you do, and we do miss you, because you did step up to the plate when there was when Teaneck needed you, and you took the vacancy, and we really appreciate it, and I miss you up there.
Well,
you know what I think I miss the most? You know, I always look to try to bring money into the town and try to make the town profitable so the taxpayers don't have. I miss the fact that we can't send around a collection plate anymore in the council room. You know, our excuse is gone.
Well, that could be my gift. Maybe we should still
All
do
right,
that.
so maybe we can still send around. All right, so if you see a collection plate coming around,
That's why.
Reverend Day's here.
Great. Okay.
Thank you very much.
Again. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Mayor, can I just say a word?
Yes, absolutely.
I know we don't want to prolong tonight's meeting, especially for our staff who really need to get home, but if I could just add a word of great appreciation, not only to Randall, who is one of my closest and dearest friends, but to the entire membership of St. Mark's. I feel like that congregation is my congregation away from congregation, my church away from synagogue. I am so grateful to all of the work you do. And Randall just sort of tossed it off, but I think that the guys, all of you who are working on this ESL program are there twice a week, 7 or 7:30 in the morning, going over to Bergenfield in any kind of weather. And I have been involved with governmental agencies and commissions that have tried to deal with the issue of day workers, and the government just isn't doing it. It's not happening at the county level the way it should. There have been problems in Monmouth County that I was aware of as chair of the State Human Relations Council. But you are just doing it on the ground. You are just going and meeting with people, taking ESL to where they are to help those people to become more independent, and that's what it's all about, teaching people how to fish, not just giving them the fish. So I just want to thank you so much for all of what you do and for making your church such a welcoming haven to all of us.
Always be that way.
Thank. I can't. You're right, 100%. If you haven't been to St. Mark's, if you don't know what they do, stop by, visit. They have brochures. They have so many different programs. Keep up the good work, and thank you. My microphone's a little bit fritzy here. All right, the next presentation is for Mr. Carter Jackson, the new NAACP president. I'd like to call him up, and I'd like to call our deputy mayor down to join me in this presentation. No, actually, I called her down to make us look better.
No, make me look better.
I'll make you look. But also she is the one who brought it to the council attention.
I know Ms. Parker.
Oh, you know? You met?
Yes.
Well, she has a lot of wonderful things to say about you. So,
My children.
oh, very nice. So I'm gonna give her this certificate, and I'll switch with you.
Back on January, what day was it when you were? January 7th, I attended your swearing in. And I sat there and Mayor Wilds handed you a key to the city, and I said, we have to call him into Teaneck and give him her certificate. We don't have a key, but we certainly have her certificate. But I just wanted to congratulate you, bring you into your home, and say how appreciative we are of you for your efforts. I met Mr. Jackson in December, I think, at the end of the year, and I just discovered that he was the new NAACP president. And I said to him, congratulations, and he said, don't congratulate me, it's a lot of work. But I congratulate you even more because you realize it's a lot of work and you're still standing up to the challenge. So I just wanted to say on behalf of the township, we'd like to present you with this certificate in recognition of being the new NAACP president.
I haven't congratulated this new council in the 9 months, so you've had a break from me. But I want you to know that I'm here to be reckoned with, and if there's any injustices, I will let you know right away. I am Carter Jackson, Jr., and I want you to know that I will be here. I've been putting my time in every municipality that I can. I will go wherever there is black people in Bergen County, and that's 70 municipalities. And if there's a problem, I will certainly fight for them. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Congratulations, and thank you, Mr. Jackson. And thank you, Lizette, for bringing this to the council's attention. And trust me when I say this is better than the key to the city. Our next presentation goes to Danielle Joseph. Now, Danielle is not here. You have ID? Come on up. Now, Danielle is not here because she's busy in school. That's the note that we got.
Yes.
But your daughter has certainly done a lot on her campus at Douglas College, and it's something that I think the residents of Teaneck are very proud of. And we wanted to recognize Danielle for her efforts, and I'll let you say a little bit about the Mideast Coexistence House that she put together at Douglas College. So this is for Danielle.
Oh, she'll be very proud. Thank you so much. I'm Danielle's mom, and I'm very proud to say that I've grown up in Teaneck. And I'm so sorry she couldn't make it today, but she's an extremely serious girl, student, and she takes everything very seriously, and she would have loved to have been here, but there was a certain seminar that she could not miss. So I'm here to speak for her. Growing up in Teaneck, in this multicultural atmosphere of people of different groups living together, has been one of the biggest influences in Danielle's life. And she has dedicated herself to bridge the understanding between Christians, Muslims, and Jews to make our to live. And she has started at Rutgers University. This is really her passion, learning community in her dorm where Jewish, Muslim, and Christian women live together. And they will be ambassadors in their various to spread the word that you have to learn about each other and we have to live together and appreciate each other. We may not agree, but we have to respect one another. And that is all she learned in Teaneck, and we are very grateful. Thank you.
Thank you very much, and we're very grateful and appreciative. And we send our very best to your daughter and really thank her for what she's doing.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
I think that Debbie was very modest. As Councilmember Fite pointed out when he expressed his excitement over seeing the newspaper article in the New York Times when Danielle went to the White House along with many other Jewish leaders for the Hanukkah party at the White House, but she was representing young people because of what she's done. I think that everybody who's watching or in this room should know that it's just the tip of the iceberg as far as your wonderful daughter is concerned. And I concur with you that Teaneck certainly has been nurturing to her, but so has your wonderful family. You and certainly your parents have meant so much to Teaneck. They were my heroes, and how could Danielle have been anything else but what she is, coming from your family? So all of us are so proud of what she is done and obviously what she's going to be able to do. So much good luck to you.
Yeah. All right, and just finally, there's a person that comes to the council meetings for the last 7 months as well, or also before, and doesn't come up during good and welfare, doesn't really say anything good or bad, but sits there and writes with his pencil and paper and takes notes. And this week, this person got engaged. And I want to congratulate Brian from the record. He doesn't have any angle when he writes his stories, but one thing he works very, very hard to do, because he prides himself on, is he tries to be accurate. And we appreciate that accuracy. We appreciate your hard work. We appreciate any time that Teaneck looks good. And we congratulate you and welcome you to the club, the marriage club. Not yet, soon. And wish you and Brenda a lot of happiness. And we don't have a certificate for you.
Good, he looks so uncomfortable as it is, Mayor. That would just do.
Congratulations, Brian.
Yes. All right, I will now come up and we'll resume the rest of the meeting. All right, the next item on our agenda is hearing on ordinances. First ordinance, 3983.
First reading by title only on January 23rd, 2007, advertised January 26th, 2007, and posted on the bulletin board.
Ordinance 3983 authorized the renewal of a township lease until June 24th, 2037. I now open up the hearing. Does anyone wish to comment on the hearing? Please raise your hand. Yep. All right. Just limit your remarks to 3 minutes. If you can give your name and address for.
Okay,
Yes.
I'm really speaking spontaneous. My name is Art Vatsky, 950 Garrison Avenue, but I have spent some time looking at the floodplain maps, and I think the lease, you have to fold in the fact about the 100-year storm and the 500-year storm that's marked on the maps. They will cover the swim club. I don't know what this does in terms of exposure of liability or concern about the swim club, but if you're having a lease for 20 more years, I think you better consider the effect of global warming on this and other properties in Teaneck, especially those near the river. So please check into that. That's the 100-year storm and the 500-year storm. Those are on maps that are dated in the early 1980s. Don't even include what the conditions that we expect to be having in the next couple of decades.
Thank you very much. And I just didn't mention, any questions or comments will be answered at the close of all the hearings and the good and welfare and the public input section, not now. Anyone else wish to comment on this? Councilman Fite?
Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
I'd like to make a motion that the hearing on ordinance 3983 be closed and that it proceed to second and final reading by title only.
I'll second that.
Councilmember Fite?
Yes.
Councilmember Cates?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Parker?
Yes.
Councilmember Rudolph?
Yes.
Councilmember Honus?
Yes.
Councilmember Gusson?
Be recusing myself on this?
Mayor Katz?
Yes.
Okay. Ordinance, I'm new at this. Ordinance 3983, an ordinance amending and supplementing a certain lease dated July 7th, 1976, amended May 2nd, 1978, January 19th, 1988, June 7th, 1988, June 21st, 1988, and August 14th, 1997, made by the Township of Teaneck as lessor with the Teaneck Swim Club, Inc. as lessee.
Thank you. Councilman Fite?
Yeah, Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a motion that ordinance 3983 be passed on second and final reading and adopted.
I'll second that.
Councilmember Fite?
Yes.
Councilmember Cates?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Parker?
No.
Councilmember Rudolph?
Yes.
Councilmember Honus?
Yes.
Councilmember Gusson?
Recused.
Mayor Katz?
Yes. We now move to ordinance 3984.
First reading by title only on January 23rd, 2007, advertised January 26, 2007, and posted on the bulletin board.
Ordinance 3984, authorize amendments to section 3315 of the development regulations to conform with the state mandated stormwater runoff requirements. I now open up the hearing on ordinance 3984. Anyone wish to comment, please raise your hand and wait to be recognized. Yes, sir.
Art Vatsky, 950 Garrison Avenue. And I guess I am rising as a professional engineer to remind you again of the decisions that are made by higher authorities than even the Council of Teaneck that we're in for global. That's going to put stress on our infrastructure, such as stormwater drains, along with our floodplains, and that the Teaneck would be wise to include in its plans provision for more variable weather than we've had in the past. Obviously, we'll make the changes when there's damage, but if we can avoid damage, that sounds like less cost to the town and to the taxpayers. So I do have to ask that extra consideration be done. Maybe to call in FEMA. FEMA made these prints 27 years ago. Maybe we have a different amount of runoff, older infrastructure. These are real problems. This is what a municipality is supposed to do, is handle the infrastructure for all of us. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Anyone else wish to comment on this ordinance?
Mr. Mayor, seeing no hands, I move that the hearing on ordinance 3984 be closed and that it proceed to second and final reading by title only.
I'll second.
Councilmember Fite?
Yes.
Councilmember Cates?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Parker?
Yes.
Councilmember Rudolph?
Yes.
Councilmember Honus?
Yes.
Councilmember Gusson?
Yes.
Mayor Katz?
Yes.
Ordinance 3984, an ordinance amending Chapter 33 entitled Development Regulations of the Township Code.
Councilman Bates?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, I move that ordinance 3984 be passed on second and final reading and adopted.
I'll second.
Councilmember Fite?
Yes.
Councilmember Cates?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Parker?
Yes.
Councilmember Rudolph?
Yes.
Councilmember Honus?
Yes.
Councilmember Gusson?
Yes.
Mayor Katz?
Yes, and we'll move on to ordinance 3985. I just want to recognize former Board of Ed member Tasha Morton in the audience. I apologize for not recognizing her earlier. Ordinance 3985.
First reading by title only on January 23rd, 2007, advertised January 26, 2007, and posted on the bulletin board.
Ordinance 3985, authorized addition to new chapter to the Township Code Stormwater Control Regulations to conform with the state mandated requirements. I now open up the hearing on ordinance 3985. Anyone wish to comment, please raise your hand. Wait to be recognized.
Mr. Mayor, seeing no hands, I make a motion that the hearing on ordinance 3985 be closed and it proceed to second and final reading by title only.
I'll second.
Councilmember Fight?
Yes.
Councilmember Cates?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Parker?
Yes.
Councilmember Rudolph?
Yes.
Councilmember Honas?
Yes.
Councilmember Gusson?
Yes.
Mayor Katz?
Yes.
Ordinance 3985, an ordinance amending the Township Code adding Chapter 38 Stormwater Control Regulations.
I make a motion that the ordinance number 3985 be passed on second and final reading and adopted.
I'll second.
You missed it. You missed it. Councilmember Fight?
Yes.
Councilmember Cates?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Parker?
Yes.
Councilmember Rudolph?
Yes.
Councilmember Honas?
Yes.
Councilmember Gusson?
Yes.
Mayor Katz?
Yes. Okay, now move on to ordinance
86.
86. I'm sorry, I was
It's
looking at
okay.
3986.
First reading by title only on January 23rd, 2007, advertised January 26th, 2007, and posted on the bulletin board.
Alrighty, ordinance 3986 establishes new annual sewer usage charge system for commercial, exempt, and industrial properties. I now open up the hearing on ordinance 3986. If anyone wishes to comment, please raise your hand. Wait to be recognized.
Mr. Mayor, seeing no hands, I'd like to make a motion that the hearing on ordinance 3986 be closed and that it proceed to second and final reading by title only.
I'll second that.
Councilmember Fight?
Yes.
Councilmember Cates?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Parker?
Yes.
Councilmember Rudolph?
Yes.
Councilmember Honas?
Yes.
Councilmember Gusson?
Yes.
Mayor Katz?
Yes.
Ordinance 3986, an ordinance amending Article 4, sewer use and charges of Chapter 30, sewer and sewage disposal, to establish a new sewer user charge system.
Councilman Roth.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a motion that ordinance 3986 be passed on second and final reading and adopted.
I'll second that.
Mr. Mayor, just
Yes.
a word of discussion.
Yes.
I would like to thank the manager for all the work she did, and I would like to thank the mayor for his recommendation that we go in this direction. I know he is always talking about bringing revenue to the town, and this seems to be a just and fair way of doing it. So I compliment both of you. I think this is a good thing to do.
Thank you very much. We appreciate it.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
may I address a question to the manager?
Yes.
I know you had addressed some questions to the attorney regarding this ordinance. Have those been resolved, or can we proceed with this without knowing the answers?
We can proceed with them. There really are just interpretations that once Mr. Torres is finished advising me, we'll need just to go through some questions of interpretation.
Okay.
Well, it's me. Councilmember Fight?
Yes.
Councilmember Cates?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Parker?
Yes.
Councilmember Rudolph?
Yes.
Councilmember Honas?
Yes.
Councilmember Gusson?
Yes.
Mayor Katz?
Yes. All right, we now move on to ordinance 3987.
First reading by title only on January 23rd, 2007, advertised January 26, 2007, and posted on the bulletin board.
Ordinance 3987 enacts a no parking from 10 a.m. to noon on a portion of Bell Avenue between Billington Road and East-West Laurelton Parkway. I now open up the hearing on ordinance 3987. Anyone wish to comment, please raise your hand. Wait to be recognized. Yes, sir, in the back. The handsome gentleman in the back.
There's a rush for the microphone.
Yeah.
Heard him perform music.
Oh, yeah.
My name is Joseph Lavelli. I'm at 1109 Bell Avenue in Teaneck. Before I begin, I'd like to express my condolences to the council and to the family and friends of our two beloved citizens who have recently passed away. I encourage you to be in favor of this ordinance, and I'd like to briefly give you some of the reasons why the residents of the street are here. The first is our own personal convenience of being able to park in the space in front of your own home, something that most everyone else in town is able to take for granted, and we are not. Second, I think at the last meeting that this was discussed, we spoke about having the street cleaned, because we don't get the usual street cleaning because of all the cars that are parked there. And subsequent to that meeting, the town posted signs and we did get the street cleaned. Well, since that time, it hasn't been cleaned, or maybe once. All of those balls that fall from the trees, those sticker balls are all over our street. The only area that's clean is the area in front of my house, which I've swept. But I nearly died trying to cross the street by tripping on one of those balls. They're all over the street because the street hasn't been cleaned, because it can't be cleaned. Second, as you know, there is no parking on Lambert Avenue. The residents of that street brought a petition before this council when it was passed, and I think ours should be passed on the same basis. As you know, there's no parking on Billington, and there's no parking on the other side of Route 4, I think on Woods Avenue. I think that's the name of the street. And I'm assuming there's no parking on those streets because they're an access road to Route 4. Well, Bell Avenue is a direct access to Route 4. It's a straight access to Route 4 and gets a lot of traffic. And it's very unsafe to cross the street when you have commuter parking on both sides. First of all, just pulling out of your driveway is difficult. Parking on both sides reduces that street to one lane of traffic. So it's an unsafe condition. And the other point I'd like to bring to you, I believe at the last meeting somebody mentioned that if this was passed, it would be a Band-Aid approach to a parking problem. You might want to consider the parking spaces around the PAL building or parking spaces on the lots on either side of Route 4 that are vacant right now that might alleviate that problem. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Anyone else wish to comment? Yes, the young lady in the back. And as I mentioned earlier, all comments from the council or staff, if we're going to make it, won't be done until after we close the portion of the hearing.
Hi, my name is Christine DeVito, and I live at 1099 Bell Avenue. And my husband and I have lived there for just about 2 years, and shortly after we moved there, the commuter parking situation got worse because, I believe, because Lambert was granted the ordinance, so then parking. And just to reiterate some of the same comments, I think just based on the fact that they were granted the ordinance, and we see, I'm out with my dogs, we see the quality of life of walking down their pretty street that isn't packed with cars. And personally, if I wanted to live in New York City, I would live in New York City. And if I wanted to come out of my house and have that kind of environment, then I wouldn't live in Teaneck, and I wouldn't live out of a suburban, I would live in an urban area, not in a suburban area. Our driveways are blocked a lot of the time, and they're so people on either side of your driveway like this, and then on the other. So if you happen to have a large vehicle like some of us do, you can't even get out. If you have a small child crossing the street, we have a lot of children on our street, they can't be seen because there are just cars lined on the whole street. So it's a problem that it's not going to solve the parking problem that the town has. But I think based on the fact that the ordinance was passed for another street, I don't know how you could pick one street to have a better quality of life than the other. The cleaning is obviously an issue. And also there's a noise issue for us in the morning. People meet up on our street to commute to Manhattan. They pull up, they get in cars with their friends, and then they go, so there's doors constantly opening and closing. And there are actually people that live 3 and 4 blocks from our street to have less of a walk to the bus, and that's particularly irritating when you know that that's happening and someone isn't willing to walk, just a few blocks to get the bus. So I think it's really important for all those reasons. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else wish to comment on this? Yes. And then you, Mr. Matthew.
My name is Karen Hager. I live at 1091 Bell Avenue. I think I've spoken here before. I think it's just reiterating that we're asking really for not much more than most other residents in Teaneck already. That we're asking for something most other residents in Teaneck already have. We just want to be able to park on our street. We just want to be able to get out of our driveways. We want to be able to make a left turn out of our driveway or a right turn without having to worry about hitting cars that park so close to the entry of your driveway. We're looking to have our street cleaned. I have 4 children. They trip on things all the time. They can't cross the street easily. My housekeeper is worried about crossing the road. She'll actually walk all the way to Laurelton just to cross out of concern for the children's safety. snow's not plowed, leaves aren't picked up, and we've been there for almost 4 years, and it's gotten worse over time, and the commuters actually argue with us. We don't have really the right to have, could you back up a little bit so I can pull out? And they'll give me a hard time saying, well, why? We're allowed to do whatever we want. And it's really I've almost missed carpool for my kids. It's just become very difficult. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Vatsky.
I'm going to be up here a lot tonight, I guess. I want
Name and address.
Harrison Avenue, and I live near Bell, and I use the Bell entrance, and I agree with the residents to the point that there are so many parks when you're driving to get onto Route 4. They park in violation of state law, and they make it hard to get on Route 4. But I also want to say that the council is perhaps not as enlightened as it should be. As other residents, the problem got worse when you put no parking, so the parking got worse on Bell. Residential streets, the solution that I think really needs to be considered for all streets near there is alternate side of the street parking. It's a compromise, but I'm sure these residents want to be able to park, and in fairness, they have to allow some parking. To do that is really anti-transit, anti-public. Want to use public transit or carpool, making it harder for people to catch buses, and I don't think that's a good policy. So that we need improvement at all the places where we have made no parking on both sides of the street regulation, that we have to balance that, the private residents' needs, with the need of residents and other people who have rights to use and park on streets to take public transit. So please consider that in future plans. Please consider that in these areas. There's going to be more, not less. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm sorry, speaker one time, and also I have to ask that if you can refrain from speaking. In addition to the reverberation, it's a little intimidating for the people that are up here. Yes, Ms. Zucker.
Mayor, I just want to remind you, at 9 o'clock, we have to stop where we are to go to Good and Welfare.
Laura Zucker, 62 Hillside Avenue. I could empathize with the people. Before we had restricted parking, when Longfellow was a school, it was a nightmare between parents and commuters leaving their cars parked all day, blocked. Literally, it got to a point, absolutely no qualms about calling tow trucks. I mean, that's getting. So I can really empathize. And what we did on Hillside, to 12, and they would rotate, so literally as far as a central location for people and have shuttle buses. I mean, I don't know, but dealing with community out and you can't, that's not fair. So figure out with your master plan, but central park buses for a small fee or something to get people to the bus stops. But I hope you do pay to control the park.
Thank you very much, Ms. Zucker. Anyone else wish to comment on this? Is there a 15-minute time limit for
No.
ordinances?
No.
Okay. Fine. I'll take, yes.
My name is Susan Berger. I live at 746 Downing Street, Teaneck. I live on the other side of town near River Road, and I have no opposition to this particular ordinance, but it's a terrible precedence that you continue to make. The people who live by me, who work, many of whom work in the city, luckily I drive to work, but I drive my husband every day to the bus stop because it's so difficult to park. And especially if I want to go into the city in the middle of the day, it's impossible to park because all the streets prevent you from parking. I think we're making a terrible problem for our residents, especially the ones who live on my side of town where there's no public transportation except early in the morning going into the city and then later in the day going back. You have no choice but to go over to one of the streets where there's public transportation, and people need a place to park because we want to keep encouraging people to take public transportation. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Yes, sir.
Hi, good evening. My name is 1108 Bell Avenue in Teaneck, and I've spoken before in front of the council a few months ago when this first came up. And again, I want to reiterate that this is not just an issue of convenience. This is an issue of safety. This is an issue of cleanliness. There are a variety of additional reasons why you should move forward with this. One of my neighbors mentioned before about a Band-Aid situation. There were really two problems here. There's a specific problem that was created on our street, and a second problem, which is parking in Teaneck. And working on the larger problem should not preclude you from going ahead and passing this ordinance tonight, which will help to clean the street, which will make the street a safer place for all of us to live. And I believe the town should be working for alternatives to allow people to figure out another way to park. There are alternatives already. I heard a gentleman speak about having alternate side street parking. Prior to moving to Teaneck, I lived in Manhattan, and that was one of the reasons why I moved out of Manhattan, was because I didn't want to move my car from one side of the street to the next. I think that's one of the most ridiculous things that I've heard tonight. But specifically, if one needs to get into New York, they can take their car to the park and ride right on the turnpike, park their car in a safe lit place, and hop on a bus into New York and pick up their car. So it's not an if I cannot park here, what am I going to do to get into New York? There are other alternatives. And I believe that the folks who use Bell Avenue as a parking lot, as a commuter pickup place, as a place at the end of the day at 5 or 6 o'clock or 7 o'clock to dump their garbage into the street, which normally takes place because when you come out the next day, there are cans and trash and papers that are thrown all over the street that blows into our yards and into the front of our homes. So I hope that you will move forward with this ordinance. Thank you.
Mr. Wentz. All right. What's your
They
suggestion?
really should finish the hearing, shouldn't they?
Try to
Finish
finish
the hearing.
this hearing, but if it's going to continue to go on, you have to stop according to.
Just by show of hand, is there anyone else that wishes to speak after this gentleman? Okay, so.
Fred for Bell Avenue. I've only been here since 1974, the 4th of July. So I've got an accumulation of taxes. And have my taxes gone up while my correct the park on the south side of Route 4. All of those streets are wide open. Let them share. You can get to your bus when you're going in the morning much quicker from that side without having to cross Bell Avenue. I don't appreciate people elsewhere who are not involved in that situation even commenting on it. We have dirt, and worst of all, and I did a little thingy on it that I would share with you, but worst of all, 2 times my car was hit by someone backing out of a driveway. I had words with a neighbor who constantly told my driveway to turn around. Now, when my little wife backed, see, I need her. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Burgess. All right, Councilman Hunis.
Okay. Mr. Mayor, seeing no more hands, I make a motion that hearing on ordinance number 3 be closed. second and final reading by title only.
I'll second.
Councilmember Fight?
Yes.
Councilmember Cates?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Parker?
Yes.
Councilmember Rudolph?
Yes.
Councilmember Honus?
Yes.
Councilmember Gusson?
Yes.
Mayor Katz?
Yes.
Okay.
Ordinance 3987, an ordinance amending Chapter 36 entitled Traffic of the Code of the Township of Teaneck.
Okay, make a motion that ordinance number 3987 be passed on second and final reading and adopted.
Second?
Okay. I just, yes.
Yeah, Mr. Mayor, when this initially came up at the first workshop, I'd like to strongly encourage us as a council to try to address this issue on a townwide basis. If there is a part of the master plan that it could be incorporated into as part of the circulation plan, or even separately, understanding that taking that approach doesn't help the people of Bell Avenue. So the initial reluctance that I had to support this, I'm going to change my view, but I still would like to strongly encourage us, because I have a feeling we'll be hearing from the people who live on Magnolia very shortly. And I don't blame. No, right now there's no better system, so I'd like to encourage us to try to get a better system. Thank you.
Yeah, well, I supported this initially, and I continue to, and I think that Mr. Blitz really hit it on the head, that we do, as Councilmember Fight said, have to work on the larger problem, and I think there are a couple of initiatives going on. I don't want to say anything because it involves other entities, but obviously the council is aware of this and as a bigger issue, but it is really not fair to the people on Bell Avenue to stop what we've been doing, even though we don't like what we've been doing, because it moves the problem, continuing to move the problem elsewhere. But it really would be discriminatory to not allow these people to have the same rights when they have such problems. And just a word about alternate side of the street parking. When Mr. Vatsky originally suggested that seemed a reasonable option to me. Mayor, perhaps the manager can explain why, because I remember that it had been discussed and I didn't remember why it was not something that we were doing, but then the manager reminded me. So, at an appropriate time, I would like her to explain that, but I'm certainly going to be supporting this ordinance with the restriction.
Thank you. Councilman Gusson?
As bad as parking is in parts of Teaneck, Saturday night I was in Midtown Manhattan visiting with some friends, and I was puzzled by looking at the parking signs, trying to determine whether or not I was allowed to park where I was. There was a
I think I was on the phone trying to help decipher them.
I think you were. There was a police station. There's a hospital. There's a post office. Some people may know where I'm describing, and all sorts of odd parking hours and regulations. And I think what we need to do, if you talk to people who live in areas with restrictive parking like that, it becomes such a burden not only on people trying to access those areas, but the residents themselves. And so, as much as the residents of Bell Ave and other streets may be asking us for this solution, I'm sure you would just rather have and not have commuters there. And so this is a decision that nobody wants. This is a solution that nobody would say this is the best case scenario. Unfortunately, we're put in that situation with all too great frequency. And I think this council is committed to addressing the townwide parking issues. We talk about whether put a Band-Aid on a gunshot wound. Well, when somebody's hurt and bleeding, I guess you need to administer first aid first, and then worry about taking the next steps. Well, we're taking that first aid step, but I guarantee you that we're working on getting that patient the proper care. The Band-Aid is not the proper care, and we're going to work for a more town-wide solution.
Thank you. This is a Band-Aid solution, and Councilman Gusson, you said it very well. Actually, my response to you when you and I were working on the signs, I said you just put it in a lot. But Teaneck doesn't have that option. And a few years ago, the Record did a piece on Teaneck's commuters, and I think we found that we have the busiest commuting town in Bergen County. And our commuter lot starts on, the boundaries are from River Road to past Teaneck Road, from Bogota to Bergenfield. And basically, residents are parking all throughout. And a lot of people like to say, oh, the non-residents that are coming in. I think that just makes them feel comfortable. But the truth is, it's a lot of our residents that are coming from one area to the other because they don't have bus lines. And unfortunately, this is the only option on the menu right now, but I encourage, as Councilman Veit said and my other colleagues, that we have to absolutely be committed to solving this problem, because right now, this is hurting the residents on that block by putting in these restrictions in order to help those residents on that block. It helps them so that they don't have the garbage, it helps them, it puts in the nuisance ordinance, that's what it's called, and that's what it is. It's a nuisance ordinance to try to chase away the commuters, but it's also chasing away our own residents, and it's hurting everybody. So it's a lose-lose, but unfortunately, right now, it's our only option, and I hope I can be here one day when we come up with a global solution. So I will also be supporting it, yeah.
Councilmember Veit?
Yes.
Councilmember Cates?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Parker?
Yes.
Yes.
Councilmember Honus?
Yes.
Councilmember Gusson?
Yes.
Mayor Katz?
Yes.
But the manager didn't explain about alternate side of the street parking.
I think we need to go to
Oh,
Good and
yeah.
Welfare. I haven't.
Okay.
Mr. Mayor, prior to Good and Welfare, I think you have a couple new ordinances which should be read into the record before Good and Welfare.
Resolution.
Resolution.
Mayor. there's-
Okay, so the, this is not the consent agenda, right? This is,
Should I move the consent
Right.
agenda?
what is,
They will be added to the consent agenda, but the public has a right to comment on Good and Welfare.
okay, so how about this?
Separate.
What I was
Isn't
like-
that public relations on this agenda?
They get two bites at the apple.
All right.
Okay.
Okay, so
What are
we're,
we doing? We're adding, Mayor, if I may?
Yeah.
We're adding Resolution K to the agenda, which is to appoint an acting municipal clerk.
right,
And the resolution is, whereas Robin J. Lamort, the Township Clerk of the Township of Teaneck, has suddenly and tragically passed away, creating a vacancy in the office of Township Clerk, and whereas the Township Council of the Township of Teaneck wishes to temporarily fill said position through the appointment of a clerk, and whereas NJSA 40:81-11 specifically authorizes the Township Council to appoint the same person to hold the offices of municipal manager and municipal clerk. Now therefore be it resolved by the Township Council of the Township of Teaneck that the municipal manager, Helene V. Fall, is hereby appointed to serve as acting municipal clerk, effective immediately pursuant to NJSA 48:99-133 until the appointment of a municipal clerk, but is made but not exceeding a period of 1 year commencing from the date of the vacancy unless otherwise reappointed as acting municipal clerk for up to 2 succeeding 1 year periods at no additional salary beyond that of her salary as municipal manager.
okay, so that's the resolution K. Now, are there any other ordinances that you want me to read into?
No, that was the only
That's
one
it.
that was added to the
Okay,
agenda.
so open up Good and Welfare. Good and Welfare is the opportunity for residents to come to the microphone and speak about any item, whether it's on the agenda or not. You have 3 minutes to speak, and as with all the other speaking parts, the council will not respond until after we close Good and Welfare. The only request I have from the residents and the people in the audience is that if you can refrain from speaking, even if you think it's a small conversation or a little chit-chat, it's a little flustering. It's a little flustering to the people that are at the microphone, and it reverberates, and it's difficult for us to get the minutes sometimes as well. So I'll start. Yes, Mr. Howard Rose. BOPO, FAB, Planning Board, Merchant, Resident. Mr. Howard Rose.
Howard Rose, 575 Northumberland Road. I came to this meeting with one specific purpose, Robin Lamort. I did not know her friends and her family. I extend my condolences to them. Like most residents of Teaneck, I knew her through either running for office, being appointed to a board, or coming to these meetings. Small in stature, she cast a large shadow. During these meetings, I guess my strongest memory of her is that during the meetings, our eyes would meet, we would smile at each other, and she would go back to her tasks. I kind of think of this as a brick building, but that she was the mortar that held it together. I regret her loss, I will miss her smile.
Thank you, Mr. Rose. I think my tears were just drying up a second ago, and now it's back. All right, next, Mr. Vatsky.
My words are on a different subject. Art Avenue, I'm speaking about the Cedar Lane Special Improvement District 2000 notice. The budget is $7,000. The district, Special Improvement District over a county road and the town. And $227,000 seems like quite a bit of money to be spent in an area as confined as the Cedar Lane Special Improvement District is. The law is over $95,000. There's also a level of almost $15,000. So between out of this budget, there's $110,000 for the Cedar Lane Special Improvement District, and a $500 promotion budget. I think they should be toned down. And there's a further I want to say. One, maintenance numbers are not called out, and I think they should be. That of a copy that in I've called for the separation of the CLSID from the TDEC, Teaneck, whatever it's in development, and that occurred, and we're moving ahead. A large, getting close to $250,000. There's no separate. We're supposed to, it's now 14 months. I think it behooves this council to complete in that study and separate. The funds are going to get mixed up. I also, and I want to reiterate, that this level of administration seems out for the second, or is it the third year of operation. I strongly urge a cutback to a more moderate level.
Thank you. Anyone else on my right side of the room wish to comment? Move to the left side. Dr. Bob.
Bob Weber, 2 London Court at Glen Point. I'm here as a member of the Board of Directors of the Courts of Glen Point Condominium Association. And first, on behalf of our community at Glen Point, I want to extend our condolences to the family of Robin Lamort for her extraordinary contribution to the good and welfare of the city, of the Township of Teaneck. At the conclusion of the council meeting 2 weeks ago, Councilwoman Cates referenced Concierge Club down at Glen Point, a property that's been in operation now for about 3 years and has probably been granted more variances than any other property in the history of Teaneck. It was originally built to be an assisted living facility, and then a variance was granted to remove one of the wings from assisted living to independent living, and then the assisted living disappeared from that into a rental property. Then the property was sold to Hovnanian and converted into a condo, and now there's speculation that that will be sold by Hovnanian to buy back the condos into some other situation. The property, we're here for 2 reasons. One is this is a substantial rateable, and we know how you guys love ratables. I believe the property is valued in excess of several $1 million for tax purposes, and currently has a range of units from between 154 to 170 because the variances have changed the number of units. And we are now looking at a building that has probably have at least 100 units that are vacant. This added to the 2 buildings on DeGraw at Willow Ave, which may or may not be completely occupied, I don't know. And the problem we now have in Englewood with the property on Route 4 going to the golf course, where that's going to have a vacancy problem. There is the potential for an enormous amount of dumping of property into the marketplace. And we want to be assured, first of all, as I think the township is, that the rateability of these facilities stays high enough to produce the income we need. But in addition, from our perspective at Glen Point, we are, as you know, concerned about the traffic pattern. And what has not changed with all the variances at Concierge Club is that it's 0.65 parking spaces per unit. And if there's a lot more cars down there, there's a lot more traffic down there, and that adds to our concern about the traffic pattern on Frank Burr Boulevard at that blind curve. So in any future variance being granted to this property for it, whether it's resale or whatever, we would certainly hope that the council will be very tuned in to how this may factor into an additional situation as designing a better traffic pattern around there. So on behalf of our community, that's what we wanted to represent tonight, and we thank you for your assistance on that.
Thank you very much, Dr. Love. And as I mentioned earlier, any comments or response from the manager or from the council won't be done until after we close good and welfare. Yes.
Joan Davis, 976 Alpine Drive. I too would like to speak about the budget for the Cedar Lane SID. The TEDC has a separate budget, which, if my memory is correct, is about $160,000 on our budget. So together, we are spending almost $500,000 for administrative units, which are, let's say, a bureaucracy of businessmen. Somehow or other, I have very great difficulty with public financing or diversion of tax money into the payment of salaries for businessmen to do their business. I also note that the paragraph on this same sheet is that the council intends to approve the budget, and yet next March 6th, the public. I don't understand this. This is confusing. My second item is Resolution E, which has several public properties for sale. I ask, are any of these properties potential parking lots for transit bus stops or future van stops? Or, I mean, can we utilize them for pocket parking lots? Thirdly, I think the council has to get involved in the master plan. The draft is, every other word is economic development. So that if we have to defend ourselves in court against very aggressive developers, we will not have a leg to stand on, because they will point and say, hey, you've enshrined the words economic development, so we're giving you what you want, so don't, why are you fighting us? I think we're in a lot of really transformation of the town. We fulfill, if we go through with this master plan draft, we are deeply committed to transforming this town. These are some of my comments in writing.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Ms. Davis. Anyone else wish to comment? Yes, Ms. Jackson.
Good evening, Audrey Jackson, 92 East Maple Street. This is not the evening to be long-winded, so I will keep my comments brief. I'm just here again this evening to urge the council to address the issue of leadership amongst our police force here in Teaneck. And I am urging the council, time is of the essence, the time is now. So I am looking for the council to be leaders and direct the township in a way that serves the entire community. And I am asking that you very quickly move to promote the African American sergeant who is currently in that position to the lieutenant's position. It's something that has a long time coming in Teaneck, and we've always set the standard of what is right and what is proper in a township and in a community. And so I urge the council to act on this and do so in a very speedy manner, because time is, of course, of the essence. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Jackson. Yes, Ms. Kramer.
Naomi Kramer. I too am sorry about Robin and dealing with the township over many, many years. I know how important a clerk is, and I know that Robin was one of the best in keeping this township running smoothly and helping look good. So it's going to be hard to replace her, I know. Another thing I wanted to say is based on vacancies in these buildings. And the owners of buildings make expect these buildings that go to the court and say, we want a reduction in our property taxes because property is not doing what it was supposed to do. And this is one of the areas where research has shown that very free in giving properties reductions when they do not meet their goals. And I just want you to keep that in mind when you keep talking about ratables and multi-story buildings, office buildings, and multi-residential buildings, that they are not the panacea that we are. And then I have a few weeks ago, you ripped up the line and the blue promised that the master plan. It is in the master plan. And I just want to know what happened. The people that are this are not doing what because if you promise that the blue would and that it would be for sure, that is not guaranteed in the way the master plan is currently written. So I'm not blaming you, Mr. Rudolph. I am asking why, when you were assured that it wasn't there, that it is there.
Thank you very much, Ms. Kramer. And like I said earlier, all answers will be given if they respond tonight at the close of Good and Welfare. Yes, Ms. Zucker.
Laura Zucker, 62 Hillside Avenue. I guess tonight is the night we kind of just keep it down a little bit.
You can still throw tomatoes, just keep it down to one.
No, is that a difference to Robin? I just want to say briefly, as the treasurer for the Friends of Teaneck's Historic Burial Ground, I had the pleasure of getting to know Robin when we did our fundraiser, and everybody threw all the money at me, literally, and then wanted me to take it out of the envelopes, and she spent hours straightening out a little glitch in my program. The numbers were a little off, and she did it with great humor, great dignity, and a lot of kindness. And I'm sure will replace Robin, he or she, and that person will bring their own magic. But unique. And every now and then we're touching our lives in a way nobody else could touch the life. And Robin, he had a dry wit, I loved doing it. And she was always, you know, it was never about you went, and she did. So, condolences to Robin's family on behalf. Back then, I know that for the past, there's been a lot of input promises of what will go in and what, and not against you all the time, but the blue line's there, guys. As a matter of fact, a lot of the things that I thought weren't going to be in the master plan, they're now. I is. I thought Brett Paul put the DPW there. We weren't going to do anything. It's in the. What are we talking? Is anybody? I don't know master plan or where board. Where planning board of volunteers of citizens. People are saying we'd like to be put in. We of going and many that come on council some GCCP meetings we should be you and say me and say let's talk about it's like hello council.
Thank you very much, Ms. Zucker. Anyone else wish to comment? Yes, Mr. Stone. Welcome back. Hope you had a safe trip.
Thank you very much. The next meeting, I'll bring my slides, so we'll have a show.
That'd be great. Split it into 3 minutes, you got it.
Cottage Place. Again, I wanted to add my words of condolence to the family and friends of Robin Lamort. I got to know Robin very, very frequently at the rate of 75 cents a page, fulfilling, submitting information requests. We got to spend a lot of time together, sometimes during her smoking breaks, and I always enjoyed her wry sense of humor, much of which involved many of the people here this evening. I probably will share some of those remarks at some point, just not exactly to the intent. Again, she will be greatly missed. There are many, many issues with which Councilmember Gustin and I don't agree, but one that we have agreed on was the number of light bulbs in this room. And I've noticed that there's been a decrease. The changeover from the candelabra bulbs that had been on this side to the compact fluorescent bulbs on this side not only results in savings of electricity, these bulbs use about 75 to 80% less than the incandescent bulbs they replace. They last about 10 times longer. Each one of these bulbs saves about $10, $15, $20 per bulb. It's not a lot of money. But if you add up the number of bulbs and multiply them out, there's a significant savings. One of the issues that Councilmember Gustin has brought up is an energy audit. There are opportunities for savings. These buildings are old, they're drafty, they're inefficient. The savings are not going to be tremendous. It's not likely to be millions of dollars that we're all looking for. But these small savings add up tremendously. And as part of our responsibility, not only to the environment, but to our taxpayers and as residents, is to ensure that we're using our taxpayer funds as efficiently as possible. Thank you for making this small change.
Thank you, Mr. Stone. And I just counted a couple $100 in savings. So we're all saving money and helping the environment while we're sitting here. Who else wishes to? Yes, sir.
Hi, good evening. Vincent Napolitano, 9 Ramapo Road. I didn't personally know Robin, but I would like to give condolences to her family. An explanation why I didn't attend the council meeting, but why Sandra Loft was not given an up and down vote. A certain block on the council abstained, and I think, council members should have enough of to give a yes or no vote. It seems like citizens have too much trust in certain things that are said as the master plan, things to be in, I hear, are in it. I think the citizens, Teaneck, I don't know, we can't be too sure of what we're told, and hopefully are not going through. Thanks.
Thank you, Mr. Montal. Anyone else wish to comment on Goomuffer? Oh, Brian?
Oh, gosh, I think this is a first.
Brian, River Street in Hack. As a clerk, how great she was as a person and as a professional. She always was responsive and very helpful. Often, with her sense of humor, she was very responsive, but she would let me know what a pain I was being first before she was responsive, and especially with the Oprah requests. And I would then fax them in to her and write in the subject line Oprah with a smiley face in the O, because I know how much she loved to have a little extra work to do. But so people know how great she was, and it's very hard to believe. I guess the last time I talked to her was on Friday afternoon, and I asked her if she was doing anything for the Super Bowl, and she said she was coming in here on Sunday, and I said, "What are you doing?" She said, "Oh, don't worry about it. I'm off. I have the day off on Monday." And I'll miss her a lot, and I just, I don't normally speak, but I felt it was appropriate to say something. So thanks.
Thank you, Brian. That's more than appropriate. It's very heartwarming to see that the professionals that she dealt with on a daily basis, their appreciation and how they remember her. Mr. Schwartz.
Mark Schwartz, 641 Cumberland Avenue. Wanted to condolences to Robin's family, also to her extended family and the Teaneck municipal bodies and the entire Teaneck citizens as well. She will be missed. Also wanted to touch on the state meeting, the Department of Transportation meeting with the council, I believe on January 23rd, in which the Route 4 was discussed, but also the handicapped access to various state bridges over Route 4. Wanted to continue to encourage the Township Council and the manager to continue the pursuit of handicap access to the Route 4 bridges and to any other bridges in town. Additionally, I wanted to thank Ms. Fall for putting the master plan draft that we and I'm being a member of the planning board, worked hard on the website last Monday as promised to the town, thereby giving everyone 2 full weeks. And I do hope that there is an attendance at this coming Thursday's meeting, and at the same time, it is easy reading, and a week and a half, and there's 10 days to read it. Thanking you and encouraging everyone to go ahead and read it. It is on the website. Feeling that anyone has any comments, to please come out and make them. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Schwartz. And you should just know Ms. Fall did do a good job pressing the commissioner to honor his word about the handicap accessible funding. Anyone else wish to comment? Yes, Ms. Lewis.
Lillian Lewis, 6901 Ardsley Court. I found out about Robert Lamort's death at the TDC meeting, and it was a shock to me. And I didn't realize it, but I just thought about the life and how quickly it can be taken from you and how important it is to live each day to the utmost. The last memory I have of Robert was at the I know fine. I said, I was thinking about, I want to buy one of the books, Teaneck. I don't know if Helen remember that. She said, oh, and put them on the table and put them. That's why I don't have the money today, but I'll come back. Oh, get her. She just person, and I will miss her. Thank you.
Ms. Lewis. Anyone else wish to comment?
Okay, Mr. Mayor, seeing no more hands, I make a motion to close good and welfare to the public.
I'll second.
First of all, Brian, you owe us $1.50 for an Oprah request. Just reminding you, Robin left it for me, okay? And now I have to collect it. With respect to Resolution E, which is the, oh, I'm sorry, I apologize,
There were some issues that were raised of the resolution, so.
Right, we need a motion to close the good and welfare. That's
I
what
did.
We did. Yeah.
I did. We need
Sorry.
roll call.
Sorry. Councilmember Fight?
Yes.
Councilmember Cates?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Parker?
Yes.
Councilmember Rudolph?
Yes.
Councilmember Honor?
Yes.
Councilmember Gusson?
Yes.
Mayor Katz?
Yes.
That's what happens when you have a rookie.
How many?
We're-
Yeah, I
we're-
know.
Forgive you.
I appreciate that. Anyway, you still owe us $1.50.
Didn't change.
Didn't change.
No.
Okay. Going to some of the questions, Mayor, that were raised. With respect to Resolution E, that authorizes the public auction of the properties. All of the properties are essentially residential lots, single-family homes, so none of them would be appropriate for any type of use other than residential lots. With respect to the one gentleman who talked during the hearing on the ordinances, he referred to the properties on either side of Route 4 by Bell Avenue. Those are actually parks. On the north side, it's Eleanor Manning Killichek Park, and on the south side, it's South Gaylord Park. So those are dedicated park lands. With respect to Mrs. Cates' question regarding alternate side street parking, that really is an issue that has been studied a lot by staff and over the course of time discussed also by council. There are, aside from an annoyance issue, which Mr. Blitz, I think, aptly described based upon his own experience, there really are two other issues. One is that you really then have a proliferation of signs all over the place. And Teaneck we have been very sensitive with respect to quality of life about the over installation of signs. The other issue is that you really are making double work because you're now that something that you're doing once a week, going up and down each side of the street, you're now having to come back and do twice a week. So we don't believe necessarily that alternate side street parking really results in a better necessarily in a better product. There were some comments made about the Cedar Lane Special Improvement budget. The process is tonight council introduces the budget, and then we set a specific hearing date, and it's 1 month later, at which time specifically public and encouraged. And in addition to that, then once council makes a determination on the budget, and presuming that they adopt it, there's also then a special assessment hearing where each property owner within the special improvement district is notified of their specific proposed assessment, and there is also a separate hearing. Please understand that the special improvement district budget is not general taxpayer expense. It's based upon special assessments of those properties within the district. The budget that is presented ultimately to council first comes from the business owners and property owners so those people most directly affected in the Special Improvement District, and that recommendation is then submitted to the Teaneck Economic Development Corporation, which ultimately makes its recommendation to council. This year's assessment will be the same in terms of the dollars raised as the 2006 assessment. And while certainly I'm not as knowledgeable about the Cedar Lane Special Improvement District as I am about our almost $60 million budget, I can say this to you: when you are serving the public, your costs are going to be in the areas where they're people serving people. So I believe firmly that this budget has been fully vetted by those boards that are responsible to the Township Council to present it, and at the appropriate time, which is a month from tonight, there will be a public hearing. There was also a question or a comment made regarding the TEDC budget, and let's be very clear, it's a budget request. No money has been authorized by council yet to be included in the budget. It is under review, and so ultimately at some time in the future the township council will make that final decision. Finally, there was a comment made regarding the concierge club and variances. The township council does not grant variances. The only boards that by state law are permitted to grant a variance would be either the planning board or the board of adjustment. So if there were any variances needed for whatever the project may be or the operation of the use, they would not come before the township council. I don't believe I have anything else.
Thank you. Anything else from council? Yes, Councilman Cates.
Yes, I'm glad the manager clarified that about variances, but I'm also glad that Dr. Weber did, again, reiterate concerns about the Concierge Club and other developments. In addition to those developments and the concern if those are not selling well or renting well, and the concern about traffic is that something that we've wanted very much, which is the Overpeck Park, the land that the town and several other towns ceded to the county, and now there's going to be a county park. That's also going to have ingress and egress on DeGraw Avenue. So we really have to be mindful of all the traffic, and so I'm glad that you spoke about that. As far as, again, I'd like to reiterate that the Cedar Lane SID money, and I don't think Ms. Davis is here, but just, there were others who are questioning this. That money is totally separate from the TEDC. The Cedar Lane SID is an assessment that the property owners on Cedar Lane have chosen to pay by creating a SID. That is an assessment over and above their taxes, and that is something very separate. Now, I personally have been very frustrated by the length of time it has taken to separate the TEDC and the Cedar Lane SID, but it is about to happen. It is happening now. The council has gone through the bylaws of the new SID and the makeup, and there were council members and I believe our attorney who felt it would be important for our new planner to look over that. We've gotten advice from our attorneys and our planners, but that is happening. As I said, I wish that it had happened a long time ago, but it's not as if it has been discarded. Steps have been taken, and that separation is happening, and I don't think there was ever a concern about fungibility of that money. I would just like to say a word to Mr. Napolitano, because I agree with him, and personally, I did not understand abstentions when we had been told that the legal process should be to handle Mrs. Loft separately. And then, if she was appointed, fine. If she was not appointed, then would be the time to look at any of the other candidates. So abstentions in the light of possible other people comparing her was not what we had been told would be the way to approach it from a legal point of view. We were not comparing her to anyone else, but that's what happened. She seems to be taking it in her stride with good humor, and we just are the ones suffering, I believe.
Thank you, Councilman Cates.
I'd also like to respond to Mr. Napolitano, and I want to, for your benefit, mostly repeat the statement I made at our last meeting, that I do not believe my abstention was in any way a lack of courage. There were a large number of residents here vocally and adamantly supporting Mrs. Loft's application for the board, and certainly it would have been the easier way to go to bend to that crowd, to that pressure, to that vocal support. It is my firm belief that while leadership is courage in action, it is also about prudence. And while the application was a single application, there was a tremendous amount of misinformation regarding other applicants for the position. There, in fact, are 9 other applicants that are seeking to be considered for the position, and it is my firm belief that it would have been inappropriate for this council to make a decision on a single candidate, knowing that there were already 9 other applicants looking for the position as well. My abstention was simply respect for Sandy Loft and her tremendous contributions to Teaneck over the many years that she's lived here, and certainly in no way was the abstention a no vote, and it clearly was not a no vote. It was I'd like to wait until I can measure all of our options and then be in a position to make a prudent decision. This was not a lack of courage. This was a display of prudence.
Thank you, Councilman Gusson. You know you can't manage what you can't measure. Councilman Gusson told me that on at the campaign trail. All right, Councilman Rudolph.
Just to touch on what Councilwoman Cates mentioned about the TDC at last night's TDC meeting. The TDC as a body, by and large, accepted the council's proposal for the new makeup of the SID board, and I'm sure we'll be hearing from them shortly. To Ms. Kramer, she's right. I did rip up the blue zone, and the blue zone that I ripped up recommended high-density development along the riverfront. What the master plan, the draft master plan actually says is it is recommended that the township commit to maintaining all family residential zoning that protects it well.
I'm sorry, I can't have a dialogue if you don't mind.
It protects it according to the planners, and it most definitely protects it. And the, what you call blue zone, the line that shows the 110 properties along the riverfront, complements this statement where the planning board sat and decided as a body that they want to protect these single-family homes. So, you know, saying it, and I'll tell you, someone said to me today on totally different note, the more times you repeat a lie, the more you believe it's true. And that's exactly what you are doing now. The more times you say this, the more you're believing it to be true. It specifically says to maintain all family residential zoning. Very.
Thank you, Councilman Rudolph. All right, we now move on to ordinance 3988.
Right. First reading for,
Right, there's a
Ready?
page.
Yeah, I'd like to make a motion.
I have to read it.
I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Yep.
Only because they highlighted it for me, so I know I have to read it. That's when you have a good and wonderful staff. First reading by title only on January 23rd, 2007, advertised January 26, 2007, and posted on the bulletin board.
Ordinance 3988 enacts a no parking 10 a.m. to noon on a portion of Fort Lee Road between Beach Street and Hickory Street. I now open up the hearing on ordinance 3988. Anyone wish to comment, please raise your hand. Wait till be called. Councilman Gusson.
I'd like to make a motion, seeing no hands, that the hearing on ordinance 3988 be closed and that it proceed to second and final reading by title only.
Second.
Councilmember Fight?
Yes.
Councilmember Case?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Parker?
Yes.
Councilmember Rudolph?
Yes.
Councilmember Honas?
Yes.
Councilmember Gusson?
Yes.
Mayor Katz?
Yes.
Ordinance number 3988, an ordinance amending Chapter 36 entitled Traffic of the Code of the Township of Teaneck.
Councilman Gusson.
I'd like to make a motion that ordinance 3988 be passed, final reading, and adopted.
Second.
Councilmember Fight?
Yes.
Councilmember Cates?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Parker?
Yes.
Councilmember Rudolph?
Yes.
Councilmember Honas?
Yes.
Councilmember Gusson?
Yes.
Mayor Katz?
Yes. Councilman Fight, would you do the
Mr.
honors of
Mayor,
introducing the ordinances?
Yes, I would like to introduce the following ordinances and setting February 20th, 2007 at 8 p.m. or soon thereafter as the matter may be reached as the date and time, and the Municipal Building Council Chambers as the place for hearing on said ordinances, including ordinance 3989, 3990, 3991, 3992, 3993, and 3994.
Anyone want to second that?
Second.
Ordinance number 3989, an ordinance amending Chapter 35 entitled Taxicabs and Other Vehicles for Hire of the Township Code. Ordinance number 3990, an ordinance amending Chapter 36 entitled Traffic of the Township Code. Ordinance number 3991, an ordinance amending Chapter 36 entitled Traffic of the Township Code. Ordinance number 3992, an ordinance amending Chapter 36 entitled Traffic of the Township Code. Ordinance number 3993, an ordinance amending Chapter 36 entitled Traffic of the Township Code. Ordinance number 3994, an ordinance authorizing the private sale of a portion of Lot 1 in Block 1107 as shown on the tax map of the Township of Teaneck pursuant to NJSA 40A:12-13. Councilmember Fight?
Yes.
Councilmember Cates?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Parker?
Yes.
Councilmember Rudolph?
Yes.
Councilmember Honus?
Yes.
Councilmember Gusson?
Yes.
Mayor Katz?
Yes, with a no on 3991. All right, we've now reached the public input on resolutions on this agenda. Anyone who has any comments on public input, would like to give input on the resolution on this agenda, please raise your hands. Wait to be recognized. All right.
Well,
Councilman
Mayor,
Cates.
seeing no hands, I move that we close public input on the resolutions and old business on this agenda.
I'll second.
Councilmember Fight?
Yes.
Councilmember Cates?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Parker?
Yes.
Councilmember Rudolph?
Yes.
Councilmember Honus?
Yes.
Councilmember Gusson?
Yes.
Mayor Katz?
Yes. We've now reached the consent agenda. Deputy Mayor Parker.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to move the consent agenda, raffles 1211, the minutes of December 19, 2006 regular meeting, and the January 11, 2007 budget review meeting, and resolutions A through K.
I'll second that. And
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to request that we pull the minutes of the January 11, 2007 budget review meeting.
okay. Anyone else want anything pulled or no? And I'd like to.
Well, I'm pulling eventually. I'd like to table it, but yeah, let's pull it first.
And with the manager's blessing, I'd like to ask Councilman Gusson to read the consent agenda.
Here we go. Also applicable with the Legalized Games of Chance Control Commission and pursuant to state statute, raffle number 1211, Holy Name Hospital School of Nursing Alumni on premises 50/50 cash raffle, $20. December 19th, 2006 regular meeting. Resolution A, authorize legal compensation, Pecker and Abramson, PC, fourth quarter. B, approve 2007 Cedar Lane Special Improvement District budget introduction. C, authorize legal compensation, Harold Ritvo Esquire, 11706 and 122006 special meetings. D, authorize installation of street lamp, 1190 River Road. E, authorize public auction township property, block 5508 lot 2, block 5508 lot 9, block lot 7, block 5604 lot 24, block 5605 lot 15, block 5606 lot 32. F, authorize execution of interlocal agreement with BCIA, TANA. G, authorize refund of 2005-2006 tax overpayment. H, authorize refund of 2006 tax overpayment county board credits. I, authorize refund of 2005 tax overpayment state court judgment block lot 5. Authorize sale and inventory of scrap metals to Parkstein Incorporated. And resolution K,
Authorizing.
Of the acting municipal clerk.
Thank you, Councilman Gusson.
All right, ready? Councilmember
But,
Fight?
Madam Manager, I just wanted to, on resolution I, I'm just curious in as I mentioned to you, in just getting more background on it following the meeting. Thank you.
I'll provide more information to council. Ready, Mayor?
Yes.
Councilmember Fight?
Yes.
Councilmember Cates?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Parker?
Yes.
Councilmember Rudolph?
Yes, with an abstention on F.
Okay, Councilmember Honus?
Yes.
Councilmember Gusson?
Yes.
Mayor Katz?
Yes. And Councilman Fight, do you want to move the minutes?
No, I'd like to table discussion of the January 11, 2007 budget review minutes.
Do they have to be moved before?
No, he can move it now. He's moving the table.
I'll second.
There's no discussion on moving the table, straight up or down vote.
I wish you had discussed it before.
All right.
No discussion?
Yep.
Oh, fair enough.
Okay,
I'll
so I'm
tell you why.
going to take a roll call?
Yeah.
Okay.
I can't vote if I don't know, I have no idea why.
Can he amend the?
There's no discussion on a motion to table.
There doesn't have.
Cannot be.
I have to withdraw it, so
Okay, I'm going to take a vote. Councilmember Fight?
Yes.
Councilmember Cates?
abstain.
Deputy Mayor Parker?
Yes.
Councilmember Rudolph?
Yes.
Councilmember Honus?
No.
Councilmember Gusson?
Yes.
Mayor Katz?
Yes. All right, we now move on to the bill list. Councilman Rudolph?
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a motion that the reading of the bill list be dispensed with it has been posted on the bulletin board all day and that it be authorized paid in the amount of $5,765,796.37 when properly approved, sworn to, and the money is made available.
Second.
Councilmember Fight?
Yes.
Councilmember Cates?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Parker?
Yes.
Councilmember Rudolph?
Yes.
Councilmember Honus?
Yes.
Councilmember Gusson?
Yes.
Mayor Katz?
Abstain. All right, we now move on to old business. Any old business? Good and welfare we did. Miscellaneous? Miscellaneous? New business? Communications? Committee reports?
Yeah.
Yes.
Last night was a meeting of the Parks, Playgrounds, and Recreation Advisory Board, and amongst many topics that were discussed, Helene, I believe you'll be expecting a communication regarding the boathouse proposal to presentation before council from the rowing club, which I would endorse. And then secondly, the board has reconfirmed their committed support for a dog run in Teaneck, and will be submitting similar statement.
Thanks. Thank you. Thanks, Shade Tree Advisory Board. We're receiving communication 20th for their Arbor Day celebration. And the TDC, I gave brief reports during Good and Welfare, but they are also eagerly awaiting for us to make the split, as well as some more information as to their budget. They're really at a loss as to where they are to be current. So.
Yes, Deputy Mayor.
On Sunday afternoon, there was a concert at St. Mark's Church. Did a benefit service advisory board, and the chair that St. Mark's come in to make a presentation of the proceeds from the concert.
Yes, that's one addition from the planning board. There's at Thomas Jefferson, the first hearing on the draft master plan. All are encouraged to attend.
Thank you. Councilman Cates.
Yes, the Senior Citizens Advisory Board and the Teaneck Senior Services Center are co-sponsoring a program on Wednesday, February 21st at 12:15 at the Rhoda Center, which is Her Heart First, a program for heart health for women at Holy Name Hospital, and lunch is available if people have to call in advance, and it's an interesting program that will be presented, so anyone's welcome.
Thank you. Any other council members? Township managers report.
Thanks. Much more comfortable with this.
Okay.
I have made the following probational appointments effective February 1st, 2007 in the Teaneck Police Department. Lieutenant Stephen Libri to the position of police captain, Sergeant Kenneth Kroonquist to the position of police lieutenant, and Police Officer Paul Finkler to the position of police sergeant. Just a follow-up, Mayor, I had spoken with Birdsall Engineering about scheduling some additional meetings for public input on the Development Opportunities Analysis Report. They did bring to my attention that there would be, because this was really outside the scope of their original proposal, that there would be an additional charge of approximately $850 per meeting. So I just want, then they were looking for some, they've given me some dates in March, but prior to me scheduling that, I wanted to bring that to your attention.
If I might?
Yes, Councilman.
Can we strongly request that to build goodwill, that they waive those charges? To stand our ground and put their feet to the fire.
I agree.
Okay, I have done that already, but I will now convey it on your behalf.
Thank you. And you can convey it the way you think I would.
I don't think I can do that.
No, she would never do that.
Mr. Mayor, I certainly agree with Mr. Guston. I mean, considering that they have 3 different responsibilities as our master plan planners, as our general planners, and this development opportunities report for which they were well compensated, I would certainly agree. However, what happens if they don't agree? I think the manager would need to know how we feel, whether or not we are desirous of going forward, even, not that we want them to know, maybe they're not listening, they don't live near here. But
we could still, the option would be, we could still have the public hearing.
Right.
We could,
But
I can conduct the public hearing myself and take
yeah,
the
you're a
input.
one-man band.
No, but I mean, staff.
Anything else?
Well, never mind.
Yeah.
Staff can do. We can do it. That's doable, and we can then convey the information to the planners. The issue will be that the planners would not be there to provide information, and I certainly, it's not my report, so it's not something that we could certainly hold it, but it would really just be comments only for the board, for the planners.
I think one other point in that request is that when the, I think the benefits were discussed of grouping those collective services together, that they, we talked about the level of service provided, and here's where we're putting in a call to collect on that level of service that was alluded to, and I think it would be inappropriate for us to authorize while we're intending to negotiate non-payment. So I think if we could hold off until that is necessary, certainly whether they're watching or not, they certainly might hear about it.
Mr. Mayor, to the manager, I don't know if you've finished your report, but I just want to make sure the public knows that we're not having a budget meeting on Thursday night.
I have not. Council has been gracious enough to cancel the February 8th budget hearing and a budget review meeting, and we will be having it on February 15th at 6 p.m. And we will re-advertise that.
And that's in deference to the day of the funeral of our clerk.
Mrs. Livermore, we thank you very much.
Anyone else have any other topics turning points? First of all, I just have one little. I just want to thank the residents for coming out, and certainly for the kind words that you said. For the audience members at our home, we know that there's a significant amount of them because I know I get my emails when I get home. Thank you for watching. But also to the staff, I want to thank you. I know that it was probably the hardest for you. Robin was 5 feet away from whoever's desk you're sitting at, and you saw her daily and spoke to her daily, and I appreciate, and the whole council and town appreciates your strength, your dedication, and your commitment, not just to the council, but to the town. So we thank you very much, and I hope to go on to happier days. I ask for a motion to adjourn.
Motion.
Second.
Thank you. Have a good night, everybody.
Last place I saw was at the last meeting that I was here.